I love this question. If you guys know me by now, I love the idea of making food medicinal, having it be a little bit more interesting than just very nutritious, but actually having some more magic to it. That's what we've done with our chocolates. It's what we do with lots of our recipes that we post on our YouTube channel and IGTV. It's what we do at home all the time. And I love that you're thinking in this way. So just about any herb could hypothetically be used in baking, but it depends what's going to be compatible with the flavors of that herb. Certainly chocolate and things that are chocolate flavored, like let's say you're making a chocolate cake or some brownies, that chocolate flavor with its natural bitter notes to it is going to cover the bitter flavors of many herbs. So that would open the door to things like reishi and eucommia and morinda and rehmannia and hoshiwu, for example. So that would be one way of going about it. But I imagine as much as you may love chocolate, and even if you're like me, not everything that you bake is going to be chocolate flavored. So you want to also then consider what are the herbs that are milder in flavor that can slide into something with not so much flavor to it. Like let's say you're making some almond cookies or something with like a graham cracker or a vanilla type flavor. What can you use in there that's not going to throw it off in too much of another direction and take away the joy of what you're trying to make there, and probably the memories, the childhood memories that you're trying to tap into. So one here would be tremella mushroom. Now, when baking, you have to be strategic about how you use tremella because it absorbs so much water. So it's going to act as a thickener, and you have to be ready for that. It's not like many other herb powders that you might use that you can just kind of add in to whatever you're doing without worrying about your recipe too much. Tremella is going to be a serious thickener, so you have to plan ahead for that. But it's very flavor neutral, so flavor-wise, you can run free with it. But in terms of the viscosity of what you're making, you have to keep in mind that tremella is going to act as a thickener. Then another one would be astragalus. Astragalus has kind of like a very mild vanilla graham cracker type flavor, so it can go well in lots of baked goods. This is a great chi tonic, a great immune tonic. It is just one of the greatest antiviral herbs that there is, and it's helping your body to naturally produce more energy. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the herbs that I think I take most frequently. And then another along the same path, with a little bit more exotic flavor to it, but still very mellow, would be lion's mane, the great brain herb for cognitive function, both short-term cognitive performance and long-term cognitive health. Then also pine pollen would be another good one, very nutrient-dense pollen coming from pine trees. Now, occasionally, when we mention pine pollen, we get messages from a couple of well-intentioned people saying, hey, isn't that pollen for the bees? Shouldn't you really reserve it for the bees, especially when they're so stressed these days and having such a hard time surviving? And it's important to understand that pine pollen is of actually no interest to bees. They don't care for it because there's no flowers. Bees only go after flowering plants and take their flower pollen. In the case of pine pollen, it's not transported, the pollen, from tree to tree by insects at all. It's transported purely by the wind. If you live somewhere with pine and in times that the pollen is coming out, you'll see this stuff blowing all over the place. It gets collected on the ground, and it's just, for many people, it's an annoyance, but for those of us who appreciate it, it's pretty awesome. Now, so we're not taking anything away from the bees here with pine pollen, just to be clear. Now, another herb that's great in baking is cordyceps, another great chi tonic, but also a jing tonic that's going to be building that core kidney adrenal reserve energy, a great adaptogen. And then if you want to get a little bit more exciting visually speaking, you could think of something like blue butterfly. Again, a very neutral flavor, so you can use it in almost anything. This herb does so much. It has anti-aging effects in terms of preventing glycation, which is the main metabolic process that leads to aging and wrinkling of the skin. It's great for blood sugar balance. It's an anxiolytic, which means it helps with stress and does so much. And you put it in anything, and it's going to turn into that vibrant, beautiful blue color, which can just blow people's minds. Imagine like you do, like, I don't know, a cake or a cookie or something that has that amazing blue color. Or what if you did like a cake that did like some, maybe like a coconut cream vanilla frosting on the outside, but on the inside you cut into it and it's vibrant blue. How cool would that be? Maybe we have to do a recipe video or something like that, now that I think about it. And then the last one I want to mention, another one of my absolute favorites, is ashwagandha. Now, most ashwagandha products have very intense flavor. And so you would only want to use them very strategically in things that were maybe along the chocolate and coffee, earthy flavor kind of direction. But our ashwagandha is extremely potent and much milder in flavor compared to most of what else is out there. And so it's much more flexible. Again, it's one of those things you can add to almost anything, and it's so potent you only need a very small amount. We're talking about an eighth to maybe a quarter of a teaspoon with this ashwagandha due to the concentration of the extract. And you have some great effects. And this is not just me saying that. It's when you look at the studies that have been done on this particular kind of an ashwagandha extract, you see this is the amount, like 350 milligrams once or twice a day is what you see being used. So it doesn't take much, and it's a great way to enhance the power of whatever it is that you're going to be baking up. So keep us posted on what you're making. I hope you'll take some pictures in your Instagram stories and let us see and tag along for the ride, because I'm excited to see what you end up doing.